Flavour.
Cambridge Radio.
I'm going to read you the menu. It's fantastic.
So we get better flavour because of the fen soil.
I've drunk more beer since I came here and bought my 2 barrels than I've ever done in my life before, I think.
I shouldn't have said almonds. They don't make it from almonds.
So you've got this big sticky mess when you start off.
Pizza Box Bites.
My wife's cakes are excelling at hot cakes. Brilliant, thank you.
The time is right for this sort of thing.
Food is everything.
Cambridge is right for this sort of thing.
What's it like? Delicious.
Good afternoon and welcome to Flavour with Alan Alder and me, Matt Bentman. Sue Bailey is away this week, but she will be back next time. So we've got an hour of food and drink news, food and drink ideas, food and drink jobs, free food, free drink, and here is Alan with some details.
Yeah, beginning with plums. We're well into the plum season at the moment. Plum crumbles grace tables throughout the land. But what else can you do with them? Local chef and culinary wizard Rosie Sykes gives us a wide range of ideas for drinks, jams, hot sauces, all sorts.
We find out about a very popular local pub that is about to open up, a market selling, amongst other things, well, food and drink.
And we find out more about the reasons for Fitzbilly's moving their bakery to Harston.
We'll have our regular features too, free food in Cambridge, local food and drink news, social media updates, and at the end of our programme, the Jobs Roundup.
But first, plums. There are a lot of them about, but how to get the best from them? Whenever you want some new ideas for how to use an ingredient, you can leaf through cookbooks, search online, or ask a chef. And who better than Rosie Sykes? So that's who I asked.
Yes, it's been an amazing year for plums and gauges, hasn't it, Alan?
It's been fantastic, and there are so many different varieties as well.
This is the thing, and Cambridgeshire has many, many varieties, especially, don't they, I think? And my plum trees this year are absolutely heaving, I have to say. And one of the trees has already dropped all its fruit and it was ripe, and I picked up about 7 kilos. So that was lovely.
I know you've got early rivers. Is that what that one was?
It was actually the Merryweather damson. So it's very early damson, yes. But it's always an early one and so delicious. A bit sweeter than a lot of damsons.
I know that you've got an early river. I think early rivers are fantastic plums, actually. Yeah. Got really good flavour. And I think probably because they're small, I think they're probably not as popular as plums like the Victoria, for example.
Exactly, or the Tsar. I mean, the one thing that's difficult about plums is they're what they call cling fruit, aren't they? So the stone really clings to the flesh, and that, even when they're really ripe, can make it quite difficult to get the stone out. And if they're very small plums or damsons, it's quite the business, but it's totally worth it. And the other thing is actually that the stones have so much flavour. So, for example, when I often make a damson gin or a damson vodka, or you can do it with plums as well. If I've had a really big crop of plums or damsons or whatever, I'll keep all the stones from any other that I've done and put it into the gin or vodka when I'm infusing it, because it gives it such an incredible almondy taste, which is just lovely. But yeah, there are so many things you can do. I've been doing a lot of salady things with plums, actually, which is so nice to do something savoury. So I did one which was, I just quartered some plums, mixed them with cucumber, fennel, radish, some spring onion, mint, and then I made little cubes of halloumi and fried them until they were really crispy, and added them in with a really simple dressing of just some nice vinegar and olive oil and salt and pepper. And it was delicious. But I think as well you could do a very similar thing and crumble feta into it. Well, I think sometimes they can feel otherwise like, well, all I can do is, you know, cakes or jam or crumble, and all those things are absolutely wonderful. But there are a lot more things you can do. I mean, I make a really great hot sauce using plums. So I grill a few chilies, depending on how hot you like it, some one red pepper, or use some jarred red pepper. Then I'll use some garlic, and sometimes I might put a bit of onion in. Anyway, then I cook the plums down. And I tend to, when I cook plums, cook them with their stones in and take the stones in after they're cooked, just because that does help with the cling fruit situation. And then I just blitz together the chilies, take some of the seeds out if you don't want it too hot, the chilies, the pepper, the garlic, a bit of ginger if you like, and you can add spices. I mean, I think plum and cardamom's really nice, a bit of cardamom and the plum flesh, and then just whiz it all up and you get the most delicious chili sauce that you would need to keep in the fridge, but so nice with sausages or barbecue-y things or anything really. Everyone goes a bit mad for it when I make it. I make it with different fruits throughout the year, but it's one of those things that people absolutely love. And plum ketchup is another nice savoury one to help you through the autumn. Basically, there are a lot of recipes for ketchups online. The one that I tend to follow is a very old Hugh Fernley Whittingstall tomato ketchup. You probably can find that online somewhere, but the balance of spices and things in that is really nice.
So you just substitute plums for the tomatoes?
Yeah, I probably sometimes might put an apple in as well, just for a bit more body, but generally mainly plums. And then the other thing is that in places like Georgia, they use plums in savoury dishes. So, you know, like a sort of chicken casserole stew type thing, or a pork stew with plums in it, which is a really delicious thing to do. Proper plums aren't that sweet, are they? They've got a nice balance of sweet and sour. But yeah, just basically even a sort of just a tray bake. In fact, I did one with sausages where I had sausages, red onion, plums. I think that was it. Maybe some sage. And I just put them all in a roasting pan with some oil, bunged them in the oven. And it came out as this delicious, you know, lovely browned caramelized sausages with sort of melted plums and onions, chili and garlic in there.
So you mix them up then? The sausages aren't separate from the plums on the tray?
No, the whole thing, just like a tray bake. So I probably started the sausages off first in a hot tray in the oven to get a bit of brown, threw in the onions and the plums, and left them all to cook together, perhaps with a splash of water, salt and pepper, maybe some ginger, garlic, and that probably not maybe not ginger, I don't know. But the end result is just perfect, really, because you've kind of got a sauce to go with your sausages, a seasonal sausage sauce.
and of course, the Chinese use plums, don't they, with duck?
Yes, exactly. They do. They dry their plums often. But I mean, also they use plum because they make plum sauce, don't they? And you can make a version of that easily with our plums and, you know, with sort of star anise and five spice, ginger. It's just a case of boiling it with some vinegar, I would have thought, probably some sugar too, some of that palm sugar or something, I should think. But yes, that's delicious. And again, that goes really nicely with all sorts of things. A good addition to chops or whatever. But anything, and if you're doing anything slightly, you know, noodles, stir fry, anything like that, you could always marinate some meat or fish in a plummy sauce.
And fish too, go with fish. Oh,
yeah,
good.
I mean, I would if I was doing something with a sort of slight Oriental inspiration, I would, but I wouldn't do fish otherwise, probably with plums.
Yeah, and I know you're in France at the moment, Rosie, and I hope you're having a nice time. Is it a big thing in French cuisine, plums?
Yes, well, the region I'm in is the home of the prune. So you see plum trees everywhere. But the most prized plum around here is the Mirabelle, which is the beautiful little golden one, and they are so delicious, little round golden.
You see, around Cambridge, you see wild plum trees with little yellow plums on them, which I've always assumed are Mirabelle, but they don't taste very much.
No, they are not Mirabelles, because we find those here as well. And my sister gave some to our French friend in the form of ice cream, I think she'd made. And our French friend, who was very traditional, and her father was a patissier, and she just said, these are not Mirabelles. But she has a Mirabelle tree. But those little cherry plums, the golden cherry plums, make lovely chutneys and pickles and stuff, I find.
I remember Rolie Lee in the Financial Times giving a recipe for, I suppose it was a Mirabelle tart, and really praising Mirabelles to the skies. And I thought that these yellow ones around Cambridge were Mirabelles, and I was really, really disappointed.
Yeah, no, they're very prized and special and quite hard to get hold of, even here in France. So, yes, but you see plums everywhere. I've got a couple of plum trees here in the garden as well. The other thing I've been making, I pickle plums. So I just, again, I take their stones out for that and just pour a hot pickling liquor with, nice aromats like coriander seeds, maybe chili, star anise, and I do a third sugar, third vinegar, third water. And pour that on, bring that up to the boil, put the plums in a sterilised jar, and then just pour that pickle on top of them. That works really well. And it's delicious with pâté or, with cheese, ham, all those sorts of things, and keeps really well. And so then you can even have it, with your cold turkey or whatever. Yeah.
So you're a fan of the plum then?
Definitely a fan of the plum. The only thing I will say is I love making plum jam, but it is the one most likely to ruin your saucepan. I don't know what it is about plums, but they stick like a badass. They really do. They really stick. I'll tell you what I think goes really nicely with plums is Earl Grey tea. So sometimes when I'm making a plum jam, I'll put a few tea bags in to infuse. And that's really nice. And I've done plum and licorice as well. That was quite nice. I think sometimes plum needs a bit of help. And something like just some lemon zest and lemon juice will lift. You'll find more flavour in your plums in a jam that way. For sure.
Really? Right. Right. So for a couple of kilos of plums, how much lemon would you put in? A whole one?
I'd probably put the zest of a lemon and the juice of a lemon and a half, probably. But I'd probably put in, say, the juice of one lemon and the zest at the beginning. And then once you're at the setting point, maybe taste it and you could add a bit more lemon.
Yeah, so quite a lot of lemon then.
Yeah. Right.
I'll give it a go.
I'll look forward to hearing your results.
But not tasting them, I imagine.
No, I'd love to taste them, of course.
Right, well, thanks very much, Rosie. That's really interesting.
Good. Pleasure.
Right. Some interesting ideas there. So have you tried any yet, Alan?
Well, they are fantastic. No, I haven't yet, because we spoke, Rosie and I spoke on Wednesday, and preparing for Flavour has taken up a lot of time since then. But what ideas to follow up? For the chili sauce, the ketchup, the tray bake, the pickled plums, jam with Earl Grey tea, or licorice or lemon. I think I'd go for the tray bake first because it just sounds fantastic. Or maybe the chili sauce, or the salad with halloumi, or maybe just all of them, Matt. Any take your fancy?
I would try the Earl Grey tea. And
I knew you would say that.
Yeah.
Actually, it struck me some of these plum recipes. The plums are almost taking the place of tomatoes. So the ketchup, for example, or putting plums in a salad. So I asked Rosie about substituting plums for tomatoes. And she said, she thinks it works partly because of the texture of plums and also because they have, a bit like tomatoes, a mixture of sweetness and sourness. And I said, but, can you do it the other way round? Use tomatoes in place of plums. So, in other words, could you make a tomato crumble or tomatoes... It sounds mad. Tomatoes and custard. And Rosie wasn't absolutely sure that would work, but she said maybe some chefs would make it work. But I can't imagine going to somebody's house or being faced with tomato crumble. I don't know.
I haven't been anywhere near as adventurous, but I have been using plums lately with smoothies. And this all dates back to when I first went to Bridges Patisserie on Bridge Street.
Yeah.
And they have a big smoothie maker there.
Right.
And from that point, I've always been semi-inspired to seasonally make smoothies. So I had been doing some lately with peaches and tomato in as well. And tomato don't seem to detract from the flavour because some fruits that you mix will detract.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of banana in smoothies, it seems, or strawberries. It seems to take away flavour for some reason.
Right.
Maybe that's just me. But anyway, fun things with plums and tomatoes.
Yeah. Actually, when I was reading about plums, because I do prepare for these interviews, I don't want to be caught out as an ignoramus, I discovered that, maybe everybody already knows this, but anyway, that damsons are named after Damascus, which is where they originated.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the early rivers, which is one of my favourite plums, partly because it's early and, so this extends the plum season. They were developed by Thomas Rivers of Sawlingbridge in Hertfordshire in around about the 1820s. And he was trying to develop a plum that would extend the plum season and did very well. And that gauges are called gauges after William Gage, who imported some Reine-Claude, and he's from Bury St Edmunds. He imported some Reine-Claude trees, which are green gage trees, from France, and the label fell off, so they couldn't remember what they were called. So they were called Gage's Green Plums or something, and they just became known as green gages. So, there you go. Oh, so one other thing, actually, that Rosie said to me was that she has a biscuit book coming out, probably in November, for the first of a series of 4 biscuit books. And they're going to be really unusual, so we'll talk to Rosie again in October, if not before.
I'm free.
Now details of free food available in and around Cambridge. The information about what's available and where to get it comes from the Olio app, and that exists so that people's or businesses' surplus food doesn't go to waste.
And Steph in King's Hedges kicks us off with today's look at Olio for Cambridge because she has got baguettes, batons and wholemeal loaves to give away. Then there's Shan, who lives between King's Hedges Road and Arbury Road, and Shan has a box of Nutri-Mother fenugreek and fennel herbal tea bags to offer. Now these are tea bags for new mums. I never knew they could make such a specific thing. But then I've never been a new mother either, so I wouldn't know. Next up, we've got Tracy, who's also in King's Hedges. Awful lot of King's Hedges people today on Olio. And she's giving away a cylinder, or a tube, I think it is, of loose masala black tea. And finally, we've got Harry, and Harry is giving away a ton of stuff, including, drumroll, multiple packs of sugar-ringed donuts, draft baguettes, white baguettes, stone-baked white batons, crusty white batons, white rolls, and walnut pave loaves. All of these have been saved from Sainsbury's. So that's not a bad haul, is it? Lots of food available, all free on the Olio app today.
Yes, well, it's fantastic. Yeah. And of course, the other free app called Too Good To Go has unsold food from restaurants, cafes and shops. It is sold to you, but often at less than half price. And instead of specifying what each item is, the surplus food is put into a magic bag, ready for you to take home. And again, that stops it being thrown away.
On to our first news break now for the 22nd of August 2026, and tonight, that's Saturday, and tomorrow night there is going to be a festive Onam experience at Tawa Lounge at the Green in Histon and Tawa Kitchen off Station Road in Cambridge. Onam is a festival celebrated by Malayali communities in Kerala and around the world.
Also tonight, and this one at the Bank Micro Pub in Willingham, Pizzo Mondo is serving from 5 until 8.
And they have a social with a barbecue tomorrow from 1 till 5 p.m. with American barbecue creations, wine, beer and aviation gin. And you're invited to take food along too.
Finboys in Mill Road has, on the 24th of August, a special night called Black and Blue, which features both beef and tuna. And on the 2nd of September, there's a Canada and the Pacific Northwest wine dinner, each course paired with a matching wine from one of those areas.
Some events coming up at Pudini in Willingham. On the 25th of September, there is a small plates evening. There's a pasta night on the 1st of October and a supper club on the 23rd of October.
A cupping session is taking place at Marvin's in Mill Road on the 27th of August. The tasting will cover their current lineup of coffees. You'll explore different origins, processes and flavours. It runs from 6 p.m. to 7:30. It's a free ticketed event and tickets are available from Marvin's Instagram bio.
On the 28th of August, Pages in Trumpington Street has a supper club with Chef Noz Kipola, known as NK the Baking Caterer on social media, and also Sweet Pea Market Garden. This will be a celebration of the farm's late summer harvest, grown without chemical inputs. There'll be natural wines from UK independent wineries available too. The evening is limited to 20 guests though, so booking is essential.
Yeah, sounds rather nice. This year's final sundowners at the GOG are on the 29th of August, a family affair, and on the 11th of September, which is in the evening and is for over 18s.
Also on the 29th of August, there is a tapas day at the Three Horseshoes in Madingley. This runs from noon up till 9 p.m. and includes small plates and cocktail specials, along with live music.
Also on the 29th of August at the Hawkston Centre, there's a pub, pop-up and barbecue, along with outdoor games for children. That's from 2 till 6 p.m. That's the news for now. More later.
OK. Now, we often feature market news, almost every episode in fact. Well, here is news of a new market. Not in Newmarket, but in Gwydir Street. That's off Mill Road. So every last Saturday of the month, 12 till 4, you're going to be having a market here in the beer garden of the Cambridge Blue. And that market can include stalls with, say, food, arts and crafts, clothes, jewellery, beer. Your first market day is going to be Saturday, the 29th of August. Is that right, Jay?
Yes, that's correct.
And one of the stalls is going to be this plant-based bakery called At the Table with Plants. Now, this is a micro bakery, and that means like a handmade baked goods in limited quantities without all of those preservatives and questionable chemicals that you might get in other baked goods that extends the lifespan on a supermarket shelf. Now, At the Table with Plants, it's run by a local guy called Dale Griffiths. You may have seen his stall at Hazelingfield Market. He'll be selling things like peach tarts, corn chicken and paprika pasties, and organic courgette and potato focaccia. He even does custom cakes to order too. And he's been supplying Wonky Kitchen here at the Cambridge Blue with flatbreads, right? Because you started a flatbread menu back in April.
Yeah. So he does all our flatbreads. We'll get bagels off him, focaccias. He uses all organic produce. We get our desserts from him as well, because to find a plant-based baker is really, really hard, but his stuff is incredible.
I got the impression you'd known him for quite a while.
Yeah, we were both part of City Pub Group together. He was a head chef somewhere when I was a sous. Me and him both have the similar view on hospitality. It used to be all about trading with local suppliers, local goods, and actually buying things off people you know, instead of being mass-produced, full of additives, and everyone has the same menu everywhere. So that's why I decided to go with Dale, because you know where the money's going. It's going to the right person. It's not going to a massive corporation. It's going to friends and family and people in the surrounding area. And then we started to reach out to other small businesses we've known for a long time. Darry's Cheese Shop. We've known Darry's for years.
Street,
so we obviously worked at Cambridge Brew House, so we emailed Jack. Then we called an old jewellery person we know who's Gecko Store, who used to be up on Burley Street, but then isn't operating there anymore.
Yeah.
And very suddenly it starts to fill up. So I think we've got about 6 stalls coming on the first market. So it's looking like it should be hopefully quite successful. But as long as it's small and independent, based in and around the Cambridgeshire, if we can get more people in every month and start to utilise the fact we've got this massive space here, which is undercover as well, so if it does rain, it doesn't matter so much. And I think that's where a lot of the world got lost in a sense. Everyone's always fighting for themselves and things like that, and I think we should be supporting each other and other small businesses. We're all trying to do it. I think if we've got the space to do so, then we should utilise it.
Space. If you come to the Cambridge Blue, you'll see it has a big beer garden, with half of it under a marquee. This is where the Saturday market will be, and this is where you'll find the good food supplied by At the Table with Plants, run by Dale Griffiths. He does you like organic sesame bagels, vegan brioche buns for the tofu burgers you do on the barbecue, black onion seed flatbreads as well. So that's part of your flatbread menu.
Yeah, that's the flatbread menu. They went down really well. We have quite a heavy menu with the burgers and other bits like that, and we're trying to look for a lighter option for the summer. So I spoke to Dale and I was like, previous place I've worked, we've done kind of like posh flatbreads, that they used to call them. It's not, it's just a flatbread. All right, it's like, just get over it. And I rang him and I was like, can you try and work out a vegan version of this?
Yeah.
So he uses coconut yogurt and then obviously all his organic flour and the black onion seeds. The vegan brioche, and he was like, I know you've got a vegan burger on, can I send you a couple of testers? And it is the best vegan brioche style thing I've ever had. Obviously brioche is normally enriched with butter, which he has to use vegan butter with, but it's absolutely incredible. His bagels we used for a while, we started selling them and they went like hotcakes for a while, and then they kind of dropped off after probably about a month of being on different specials we had running. But yeah,
that seems kind of interesting to me. Like bagels actually have almost like a shelf life of interest.
Yeah, it's pretty much what happened. Like I got maybe 40 off him. I was like, that would do me next couple of days, happy days.
Yeah.
And then we kept doing it, we changed the fillings, and we had, at one point we had 3 different options on. Maple and sriracha buffalo with some chicken, blue cheese and some other bits. Then we made some pastrami and done a classic pastrami one, but it took a while to get on because it also takes time to cure it yourself and then get it cooked and sliced. And then we done a couple of vegan options, but I think it was a pulled mushroom or something like that. And they all went really, really well. And we kept rotating it, and it must have been about a month. And then it just dropped. So everyone was fed up of bagels. We don't really know what happened. They just stopped selling, and we were like, okay, fine. We ran with it for a while. It was really popular.
Yeah.
But like I said, we've got quite a lot of regulars, so I think that might have been why I was like, I don't want another bagel. Yeah, but a shelf life of interest is probably the best way I could put it.
Now, we're in the height of summer, and you've been running some really amazing barbecues during that time. Your barbecue equipment looks fantastic.
It is a really good bit of kit. That comes from a company called Firemade UK. I actually got the inspiration of that from my friend who works at Providence Bricks and Mortar and uses a similar piece of equipment. It's now coming to the end, so we've got another 2 weeks of barbecues on Sundays, and I think we're going to have to call it quits, which is a bit of a shame. But we've had really good feedback on it. Lots of veggies turning up. Got some good fish on there as well over the last couple of weeks. We had octopus and chorizo skewers, which seemed to shock quite a few people being in the centre of Cambridge in a pub garden eating octopus, but we did sell out of it. It was one of the first things we sold out of. It was really, really strange. I even had a customer from Galicia, and he was like, this is going to be interesting. And I've never been so scared to watch someone eat something in my life, because I was like, I'm going to get the most honest feedback. And he just said to me, he's like, that's surprisingly very good. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, I thought it was going to be awful. And he was like, it's the best I've had out of Galicia, which was really, really nice.
For anyone who's never tried octopus, how would you describe the taste and the texture?
It's really meaty, but also really delicate and soft. But you don't really want to mess with it too much. You just want to let it have its kind of fishy but hearty texture come through, if that makes sense. We've done a little dressing for it, which is just red pepper and comfy garlic oil just over the top, just for a little bit of colour and a little bit of flavour. But you shouldn't do that much to it, in my opinion. It can stick, but if you get the right sear on it and the barbecue's at the right temperature and you've got it at the right height, then it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
The first one I put on did stick, I'll be honest. But no, it was good. It was really good fun. On top of the veggie and vegan options for the barbecues, we've been doing mostly, and we've got the best feedback on, we're doing smoked Romano peppers.
Smoked Romano peppers.
About an hour before we open, we'd light the barbecue and just have a couple of logs just turning over and just leave the peppers just hanging above it and smoking a good couple of hours. And then once that's smoked, you then chuck it onto the fire, nice bit of heat, and finish it off. And then we also done some mushrooms, which was just garlic and herb. They went down really well. We didn't think it was going to be one of the best sellers, but that and the Romano peppers seemed to be the best too. We always have little bits going on. We had a Belgian beer tap takeover with some Barlanders the other week, so we barbecued with that. I used the beer to marinate some pork ribs, and I cooked some mussels in the beer with some bacon and other bits. So we have quite a regular customer base. So if we knew they were going to come back the next week, we made sure we actually had to change it, because I don't want someone to have to come in every time and eat the same thing. But surprisingly, quite a lot of vegans do come here, which is why we use Dale for the desserts and things like that instead of basic Sidoli vegan cheesecakes that everyone seems to have on their menu at the moment.
Jay and his team at Wonky Kitchens have certainly had a good run with their barbecues this summer, though it was a tough job to man during the relentless heat waves that we've been having.
You can't beat it, anything cooked over coal and fire, so we use a combination of beech and home oak charcoal. So the beech will kind of have a nice slow burn, but then a really solid ember at the end.
Yeah.
And then the lumpwood charcoal there's massive chunks of it, will keep going throughout, and then you just kind of keep topping it up and feeding it throughout the day, and you can kind of have different piles, so you know that it's going to be hot, and then depending on the height and variation of what you're cooking, you have a lot more options to do what you're trying to actually get out of it. On the market day, they've got Castile tap takeover on the Friday night, so we're hoping there's some of the beer left over, so they can then open up the outside bar on a Saturday lunch for that, just to try and make it have a bit of a buzz. And if we can sort it out by the end of summer, then we can start doing Christmas markets and other bits like that, and then hopefully keep it going.
Good stuff. Well, we look forward to that, Jay.
Yeah, we've got the tap takeover on the 28th.
Excellent. Tap takeover on the 28th, the market on the 29th. So it's going to be a fun weekend.
It is indeed.
Good. Right. Thank you very much, Jay.
No problem at all. Thank you.
And this just in, Jay and the team at Wonky Kitchens have announced that tomorrow, that's Sunday the 23rd, that is going to be their last barbecue of the summer. So if any of you have heard what sounds like something so sumptuous, and it really is, then do book a table at Cambridge Blue with Wonky Kitchens, because the following weekend is going to be a triple threat. The tap takeover on the 28th, as we said, the market begins on the 29th, and then it's the reintroduction of roast dinners starting on Sunday the 30th. It's all go at the Cambridge Blue, and there's nothing we can do, as David Bowie once said.
Coming up on Flavour, Fitzbilly's new cafe and bakery in Harston, more news, including wine tasting events, a social media update, a look at today's Guardian Feast magazine, and our burgeoning job section. That's all coming up in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned.
Cambridge Radio.
Whether it's United, City or Histon, from the terraces to the touchline, we've got you covered. Each week, From the Terraces brings you proper football chat, the talking points, post-match reaction and the stories you're all debating in the stands.
Every game in the league looks extremely difficult this year and challenging and exciting for us. But we're going to home Bromley away first two games. We really look forward to them. We're well prepared for them, ready to go.
From the Terraces, online whenever you want and Sunday at 6 on Cambridge Radio.
Cambridge Radio.
Welcome back to Flavour. More news now, starting with a couple of events coming up at Coffee World in Milton. There's a 2-hour barista advanced class on the 29th of August, and on the same day an hour-long tour of the roastery, which will include a tasting of their coffees.
The 29th of August is a busy day. At Frank's Farm in Ellsworth, there is a relaxed hands-on brunch class with good food, chef-taught tips and a glass of Prosecco. You'll learn how to master the perfect poached egg, silky hollandaise, eggs Benedict and shakshuka using tomatoes grown at the farm. It all runs from 11 till 1:30 p.m.
There's an open day at Pixie Brewing in Barrington. That's also on August the 29th, and some classic cars will be on display. Elsewhere, Pixie Brewing also has a tasting of 4 new brews along with some cheeses at Marv's in Hamptill, Bedford on the 3rd of September. There are only 14 tickets available for that, and you can buy one from Marv's Hamptill Instagram bio.
Pastori Brewery has announced some taproom dates. The 5th of September with the Sparkling Sake Company and Pizza Mondo. On the 19th of September it's Meet Up, and on the 3rd of October Gorilla Kitchen.
And on the subject of things beery, the Cambridge Oktoberfest will be on Jesus Green on the 25th and the 26th of September. But back to coffee. A coffee festival takes place at the Yard in Ely on the 12th of September, where you can try your hand at latte art, take part in a guided coffee tasting session, perfect your own coffee brewing technique, roast some beans and visit the matcha bar.
Also on the 26th of September is the return of the Biodiversity and Regenerative Food Festival on Parker's Piece. The focus will be on regenerative, organic and agroecological food production, nature, wildlife, landscape regeneration, organic gardening and heritage seeds and plants, and fermented and preserved foods. It will feature organic growers, bakers, street food vendors, crafters and plenty more, and entry is free.
Market news now. On the 30th of August, the Gransden's Farmers Market. Also on the 30th of August, a rather special Hazelingfield Market. It will include Webb Sour's Bakewell tarts, croissants and sourdough, fresh fish from Grimsby, the Ivo Brewery, Eccles Cakes and Sausage Rolls, pasture-raised chickens, cider and perry, English wines, homemade jams and chutneys, oils and honey, and there will be traditional fairground-style games for children too. It all runs from 10 till 1, and that's on the 30th of August. Meanwhile, on the 5th of September, there's Linton Market, and of course every Saturday morning the Clave Farm Market.
OK, that's our news for today. Wine news is coming up shortly.
Fitzbilly's moved its bakery recently to Harston, where their building also houses its new coffee shop. Cambridge Radio's Neil Herbie, spoke to owner or co-owner and CEO Alison Wright about the changes and what the future might bring. Here's an extract.
Fitzbilly's has been part of Cambridge life for more than 100 years. One of the biggest recent changes has been moving the baking operation out of the city centre to a new home in Harston on the A10. Was that part of a long-term plan? What sort of inspired that decision? Or did you just simply run out of elbow room for one more tray of Chelsea buns?
Absolutely. So up until 2018, the bakery was in the back of Fitzbilly's in Trumpington Street. So for the first 98 years of Fitzbilly's, it was there right behind the shop. And there's something wonderful about that because you can carry the fresh baked goods out and put them onto the counter. But by 2018, we'd opened our second branch in Bridge Street, so we had to bake a lot more. And also we knew we wanted to start making sourdough bread and our own croissant, so there just wasn't enough room. So at that point, we moved the bakery out of Trumpington Street into a small industrial unit in Clifton Road, which people will know is just behind the station, behind the leisure park. Mm-hmm. And that started to grow till we had to take the unit next door. So we had 2 units, and that was kind of fine, and that saw us through, 8 years in fact. But what we always really longed for is having a bakery where customers could see the bakers at work and where we had a coffee shop next door again so that we could carry the fresh pastries and bread through and put them on the counter. So a couple of years ago, really, we started looking for a building that would give us that would give us a bakery, that would give us the coffee shop as well. And we looked really widely. We'd have been happy to have somewhere in Cambridge, but actually you're pretty unlikely to get a big building in Cambridge. So we looked all round. We said it's got to be 20 minutes drive or less from our branches in the middle of town. The good thing for us is because we bake very early, our vans have to leave the bakery at 7 a.m, so they get just ahead of the traffic. So we saw a few things, none of them were quite right. And then we'd appointed Carter Jonas as agents for the search, and they called me up and they said, right, we've got something coming on in a week or two that I think you'll like. It's in Harston, so it's right in your search area. And I said, is it the Ducati garage? Because there was like one building in the whole of Cambridgeshire that I thought would be great for us, because nice big building, big windows that are lovely for a coffee shop or a bakery. It's got parking in front. It's on a busy road. It's a nice straightforward route. And they said, oh, we can't tell you because it's not come to the market yet. But 2 weeks later they said, yes, it's the Ducati garage. So we were the first people to see round, the only people to see round, and we said, yes, this is the building for us. We're going to make it happen. Also, actually, our old bakery buildings were under threat of compulsory purchase because of East West Rail, because they're just at the back of the station. So we thought it was pretty wise to get ahead of that and move. Probably February 2025 that we first saw the building. We had to go through a process of getting planning permission for change of use. So it was a long process, hard work, but we eventually moved the coffee shop at the beginning of June, the bakery on the 22nd of June, and we're just so delighted with how it's all gone.
Well, listen, tell me about Stephen Fry. Tell me about his social media post and how it triggered the madness of buying a failed business in 2011, which I think was the year it failed, didn't it? And it was an institution was potentially never going to be there again, such as Fitzbillies.
People may not remember this now, but actually in 2011, Fitzbillies closed down in the February, went into receivership. The bailiffs were called in. The bakers just had a few minutes to pack up their stuff and go. And actually, it was closed for 6 months. And I grew up in Cambridge, so I knew Fitzbillies really well. I was very fond of it.
Yeah.
But I was working in London at the time, and I was just at my desk in London, and I saw on Twitter, I was obviously not paying attention to my work, was I, if I was looking at Twitter, but there we go. And I saw a tweet from Stephen Fry, and it said, "Oh no, I can't believe it, Fitzbillies has closed down, those Chelsea buns." And I was just seized with an absolute urge to find out what was going on, do something about it. So I got on the phone to the Cambridge Evening News, as it was then. They told me who the official receiver was who'd been appointed, who the landlord was, which was Pembroke College. Yeah, and I got in touch with them and I said, yeah, really interested. Can we come and have a look round? But actually, we weren't the only people to do that. I think upwards of 100 people were initially interested in the site.
Oh, amazing. I didn't realise that.
A few of them wanted to make it Fitzbillies again, but lots of them just wanted it as a piece of property on a corner in Cambridge. So we were on a long list and then a short list, and we had to do a business plan and pitch to the Bursar of Pembroke, who are the landlords, and his agent. And I think I won them over with a Bakewell tart. I took with me a Bakewell tart, which was kind of a metaphor for what we wanted to do with the business, because it's a very traditional English bake, but I'd made a really lovely modern version of it with fresh raspberries, frangipane.
Listen, I've lived in Cambridge for years, and I can't remember how many times I've been in Fitzbillies. It is an institution. It's part of Cambridge life, and thank God that you were able to resurrect it. Well, looking ahead, what does the future hold for Fitzbillies? Are there plans to have a Fitzbillies in every major city in the UK? Will you be offering 30 different flavours of hot cross buns like the supermarkets, cherry and Brussels sprouts maybe? I won't get you to reveal any state secrets, but any plans for a new cake maybe? I
mean, we see ourselves very much as a Cambridge business, and the way we operate, because we bake everything fresh every morning, we wouldn't really want a branch that was more than 20 minutes away from our bakery in Harston. So it's possible that in 2 or 3 years we might find another great location, have another coffee shop somewhere, but we don't have plans for big expansion outside Cambridge. Really, we're all about trying to keep the business stable, trying to keep the product absolutely excellent. We've been through the 100th anniversary. We want to leave Fitzbillies in shape for its 200th anniversary. So it's all about long-term planning and stability in Cambridge. We do think about new cakes, new flavours from time to time. So the Chelsea buns, obviously, we've made for 106 years, but about 2 or 3 years ago, we started making other flavours of buns. So we make a cinnamon bun with cream cheese icing, a really nice blueberry cheesecake one. We make a cheese and Marmite savoury bun, which is very, very popular. Earlier this year, we did a pistachio bun, which was a special. So probably the next things we'll be thinking about are some different special flavours of buns. Haven't decided what to do yet, but tiramisu is a lovely flavour. We're actually interested in a Bakewell tart bun as well, or maybe an apple crumble bun could be nice in autumn. So no decisions made, but we'll be doing a bit of testing.
There we go. That was quite a good extract. You can hear the full interview Herbie did with Alison Wright on our podcast section on the Cambridge Radio website, and from all the usual places too. Herbie's programme is on Tuesdays between noon and 2 p.m.
On to wine news now. That was supercharged with wine. Cambridge Wine Merchants has a day's course for the WSET Level 1 Award on the 15th of September. And also at Cambridge Wine Merchants, there's a tour of Italy on the 7th of October. So we're looking ahead. That's with Steve Hovington, and that's at the Cherry Hinton Road branch.
And Grape Britannia in Chesterton Road has a tasting of 6 wines of varying styles. Well, that's on the 9th of September. And on the 23rd of September, Kieran Price will be leading a tasting of Gusbourne wines. OK, over to Alan now with our regular look at the newspapers.
Yes, well, a regular look at the feast section from the Guardian. And one of the interesting columns in there is called The Filter, in which Tom Hunt recommends the best of a particular sort of food. And today it's tomato ketchup. And everybody's, I don't know how I was going to say everybody's favourite. The one that's best known, of course, is Heinz tomato ketchup. And Tom Hunt gives it 3 stars out of 5. And he says the taste is candy sweet with a sour twang and a good depth. But this has 22.8% total sugars, making it the second sweetest in the whole test group, and a relatively low 148 grams of tomatoes per 100 gram of sauce. So there you are.
Yes, some tomato sauces can be very acidic, and there's I was watching a video on this recently where they were talking about how the ingredients list of tomato ketchup has changed so much in the last 30-40 years.
Oh really?
I mean, imagine if you could jump back to the 1980s and try an equivalent Heinz ketchup then and compare the two flavours.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. So are you a fan of videos about tomato sauce?
I can't remember why I started watching it. I think I'm more of a fan of I was going to say, like, standing up for the common man in terms of their quality of their ketchup, you know, because it's something that shocked me.
Yes, it's surprising.
Yeah, and if you can do that with tomato ketchup, it's happening all across the board, right?
Probably. The best overall was rather oddly named. It's not exactly snappy. It's called Rubies in the Rubble Ketchup, but gooder. Of which he says, a squeezy bottle of vivid red sauce with sweet and complex aroma contains a high percentage of fruit, which adds sweetness and a fruity depth layered with spice. Contains the preservative potassium sorbate and 20% sugars in total. Right, well there you are, that's tomato ketchup. As far as recipes are concerned, Felicity Cloak has her usual The Perfect, and this time it's The Perfect Zaru Soba. You're not a fan of
She's
websites
an actress,
about
isn't she?
Zaru Soba. It's a Japanese dish, and apparently soba, I feel terribly ignorant here, soba, this kind of noodle, and they're fairly easy to come by in large supermarkets.
Oh, SOBA.
Yeah. Oh dear, right, well I'm caught out there. Anyway, if you're interested in Zaru Soba, Felicity Cloak is your woman. There's a recipe further back in the magazine, hot gooseberry pickle, which is quite tempting because I really like gooseberries, but gooseberries aren't really around at the moment. So there's also cucumber yoghurt curry, which I can't imagine. You'd imagine the cucumber would become a slurry.
Yes.
Cucumber slurry yoghurt curry. Sarka Ottavrel Kamdova has some pickled recipes, fermented bell pepper sauce and courgette kraut. Now, when I'm looking for something, you know, if I know I go on about this, so if I have a surplus of a particular ingredient and I'm looking for what to make with it, I often go online or look in cookbooks. And the person online whose recipes I found most appealing is Georgina Hayden. And here she is with corn, jalapeno and black bean nachos. I think she has good recipes. Something from Thomasina Mears, lamb-stuffed aubergine with chili butter, or iced berry ripple tahini cream. And there is also, I think I might stop on this one, the most fantastic blackberry. I'll show you, I'll hold up the photograph so you can salivate publicly. Blackberry and almond cake from Mira Soda.
Oh, there you go. Yep, you can see us salivating on radio right now.
Anyway, they're all in today's Feast magazine.
And there's the music signalling time for news from social media, and a reminder that you can find Flavour on Instagram, where we are Flavour Cam. You can also contact us by email if you like, flavour@cambridge.radio.
There's been some message from Emerald Farm, the market stall in Cambridge, about Lapsang Souchong tea. Is that a tea you like, Matt? Lapsang Souchong?
I've only tried it once or twice and several years ago.
It's very powerful. Anyway, the message says, some of you may know that authentic Chinese Lapsang Souchong tea is becoming increasingly difficult to find. But you've always known that we stock it. This famous tea gets its distinctive smoky character by being smoked over Chinese red pine wood, which is now a protected species and therefore not readily available. Consequently, the UK is experiencing supply issues, and this now includes us. We have secured the last remaining supply of this from our tea importer and have been warned this may be the last time we're able to get it. And there is an alternative. Formosa Lapsang Souchong remains readily available, but it's not such an intensely smoky tea as the Chinese version. So,
there you go.
Bad luck for Lapsang Souchong lovers. Heath Fruit Farm is at Ely Market today, and the farm shop is open for a few minutes until 1 o'clock. And they have plums, Victoria plums, Avalon plums, Green Gages, Count Athlands plums, Merryweather and Shropshire prune damsons, and lots of different apples, apple juice and honey, and 5 kilogram trays of plums and Gages are available at reduced price. Thursday has sent this news that it's its 11th birthday party on the 27th of August from 5 till late, and you're invited to join in celebrating 11 crazy years of Thursday. Shenanigans will be had. Drunken shit. Burger King is set to close at Addenbrooke's Hospital. 2 popular food outlets are being closed at Addenbrooke's as it looks to introduce a new healthier options. The Burger King and Starbucks will close to make way for new arrivals. Tortilla opening on September the 28th, Peabody's Coffee opening in November, and Baked Potato Company opening late in January. Some news from Rosie Sykes, the canteen in Southwold. She's doing a meal for them on Saturday the 26th of September. And one final thing, LA Matter in Cambridge, cakes today are blueberry, fig, cherry and plum. Fantastic. Okay, that's an update from social media.
Moving on to our jobs roundup now. We begin with the Edge Cafes in Fulbourn and Mill Road. They have 2 part-time positions available for a barista and a chef or an all-rounder. Experience of working in a busy cafe is needed, and for further information or to apply, just email jobs@theedgecafecambridge.com. Attach your CV if you're applying.
The Cambridge Oven is opening a shop in St Ives. They're recruiting a shop manager, which is full-time, and baristas for 15 to 20 hours a week. It will open late September. To apply, email thebakery@thecambridgeoven.co.uk.
Margaret's in Chesterton Road is looking for chefs and pastry chefs of all levels. To apply, email alex@margaretscambridge.co.uk.
Flourish in Hildesham has a vacancy for a pack barn coordinator to ensure that orders reach customers in perfect condition, and also for an experienced grower to be a field scale grower and help to manage the 80-acre organic vegetable production. Applications should include a CV and covering letter, and dates and times you'll be available for a phone call. Send to office@flourishproduce.co.uk.
There are 2 vacancies at Dolcedo in Eddington. One is for a full-time front of house and the other for a supervisor.
The King's Head in Fen Ditton is looking for an experienced part-time bartender, mainly for weekends. Phone or message 07453 301 560. If you can't remember that, just pop in for a chat.
Stir Cambridge have 3 full-time junior sous chef positions available, based in their prep kitchen and CB4 cafe kitchen at the Chesterton branch, which would also require providing support at their other locations, and that includes the Stir Addenbrooke's branch. Weekend availability is essential, so just email recruitment@yourstir.co.uk.
A nice job going at Burren. on the Romsey side of Mill Road, needing chefs. If you're interested, email hello@boroughcambridge.co.uk or send them a DM via Instagram.
Here's another couple from Stir. They need a part-time front-of-house person for their Chesterton branch, and there's also a position for a full-time barista at their Addenbrooke site. Again, weekend availability is essential for both of these jobs, and the email to contact is the same, recruitment@yourstir.co.uk.
And finally, Little Piggy, the cafe and smokehouse venue in Fenstanton, is looking for a cafe front-of-house team member to work weekends 9 till 3:30 with more shifts available. To apply, just pop in or email cafe@littlepiggycatering.co.uk.
And that takes us to the end of today's programme. Don't forget we are here on alternate Saturdays at 12 noon, repeated on Mondays at 2 p.m. And we're also available as a podcast from all the usual places. But if you can't wait, just hit that on-demand button on the Cambridge Radio website.
But that's all from us for today. After the news at 1 p.m. is Christine Schneider, and at 2 p.m. Kevin Hunt celebrates the art of songwriting. We'll be back on the 5th of September with lots more food and drink, news, jobs and features. Until then, thanks for listening and goodbye.
Goodbye.